to you by Kellogg's. Kellogg's Cereals. The best to you each morning from Kellogg's of Battle Creek. Now let's all play What's My Line? And now from New York, let's meet our What's My Line panel. First, the delightful star of stage and television, Miss Arlene Francis.
And now, one of the most enchanting personalities on or off television, the wonderfully talented Merv Griffin.
My pleasure to introduce one of America's most popular newspaper women, the First Lady of the Fourth Estate, in third position, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
First Gentleman of Publishing, Bennett Cerf.
Now that man with the translucent mind and the mellifluous voice, our distinguished panel moderator, John Charles Daly.
Of course, the thing that worries me, when Bennett says I have a translucent mind, I have a nasty feeling what he means is you can see right through it. That's what I thought, Bennett. Nice to have you on the panel with us, Merv.
Thanks.
I say.
Nice to be here.
We have some very interesting occupations, some nice folks who brought them to the theater, and I think we'll have some fun with the panel in the next half hour. We will also have a famous mystery guest before my friends on the panel a little bit later in the program. And we'll meet our first challenger after this one. And now to meet our first challenger. Will you enter and sign in, please? Will you sign in? Mr. X. Well, that's a good way to start. How do you do? Panel, needless to say, you will have recognized that with Mr. X, we have some concern that if our guest were to write the full name, it would give you some degree of knowledge that we would like to deprive you of for the moment. However, I would like to present Mr. X to the panel. Now, would you join me over here, please, sir? Do you know how we keep score on What's My Line? All right, fine. Then we'll let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. Panel, we can tell you that Mr. X is self-employed and deals in a product, and we'll begin the general questioning with Bennett Cerf.
Mr. X, it's interesting to see you sitting next to Mr. Ham and eggs.
Speaking of Bennett's puns, let's say we're surfeited.
Mr. X, I take it your name would be recognizable to all of us. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is that more because of the name of your product than what you do yourself?
Yes.
Is your product something that can be found in the home?
Yes.
Is it a product that might be consumed?
Yes.
Might it be taken internally, either as food or drink?
Yes.
Would it be drink rather than food?
Yes.
Is it a soft drink as compared with a drink of alcoholic content?
No.
1 down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
Well, it has alcoholic content. Good. You look to me like a champagne type, Mr. X. Is champagne your line?
Yes.
Now, I have to find out what champagne?
No.
Holy moly.
What does Mr. X have to do with champagne?
Well, I hope he has the vineyards where the grapes grow.
Well,
No.
Maybe he has owns some chateau country where they grow grapes, no?
does not own the vineyard. No, that's 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Griffin.
Mr. X, does Does the champagne bear your name?
Yes.
Is your first name Piper?
No. 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Are you Mr. Bollinger?
No.
4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. Perrier.
No.
5 down and 5 to go, Miss Francis.
Paul Roger.
No.
6 down and 4 to go, Mr. Griffin.
Are you domestic?
No.
7 down and 3 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Just give me a minute. I'm going for some champagne. Haven't we had that?
No, we haven't had that, but that isn't it.
Excuse me, there was no call for a cocktail,
Oh, no.
was there? It isn't Dom Perignon, because he was a Dom.
He was a Dom.
Yes. Mr. Mum?
No.
8 down and 2 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Golly, we know more about beer than we do about Is it a French champagne?
Yes.
Is it a brand that has been known for many years?
Yes.
I pay it.
Just terrible.
Have a drink.
Do you bottle the champagne?
Yes.
The name is on the label, and
We've done
of course it just goes to show you how upright all of us are on the panel. We don't know the name of the champagne.
Well, I'm going to tip the other 2 cards over because I think you, in a sense, drove yourself to the proper identification. You forgot that there is a Charles Heidsieck champagne, which has been known for generations. And it's Charles Heidsieck who is our guest tonight.
Is that your sister, Piper? No.
No, and that's a Laurie if I ever saw one.
Piper
Never
with
did.
Papa.
Well, I must say that we did well with them just on identification, but must give Bennett credit for driving right to the point. You are, I believe, the 5th generation of your family, the Charles Heidsieck.
That's correct, yes.
Why, are you in the United States visiting or in business?
Visiting.
Visiting. Well, I trust that you enjoy your visit with us as we've enjoyed your visit to What's My Line. It's nice of you to have given us some of your time while you're here. Good night, sir. All right, let's meet our next contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please? Diane. And Linda Bogue, right? Rows between, to phone between 2 roses. First of all, would you tell us where you're from?
Toronto, Ontario.
Toronto, Ontario. And may I present you formally to the panel? Now will you join me here, if you will? Now, I'm going to move in first, since we have to sort of arrange ourselves here so that we can all sit together. All right? Comfortable? Do you know how we keep score on What's My Line? Fine. In that event, we'll let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. All right. Panel, we can tell you that the Mrs. Bogue are salaried and deal in a service, and we'll begin the general questioning with Merv Griffin.
I take it, John, this time this is not a gum commercial? They deal in a service. Is this something, do you come to people's homes to perform your service?
Sometimes.
And what both of you do, is it of great benefit to the people at home?
We hope so.
Is this service you deal in a luxury service?
No, sir.
No, that's 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Could you perform this on both men and women?
Yes.
Would you ever do it simultaneously?
Yes, we can.
Could a man do what you do?
Yes.
Is it frequent that men do what you do?
Yes, it is.
Is there any athletics or dexterity involved in what you do? Do you move about?
Yes.
Rather than just sit in an office?
Oh, yes.
Do you have anything to do with painting or bricklaying or construction?
No, that's 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mrs. Vogue, do you have anything to do with repairing or beautifying the premises?
No.
3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
Do you touch the people that you come in contact with in your service?
Sometimes.
Sometimes? Is there anything instructive about what you do? Do you
Sometimes.
teach something as you go?
Sometimes, yes.
Are you on your feet when you give your services? Yes?
Yes.
It's better that way. Is the movement required while you're standing up rhythmic?
No.
No?
4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Griffin.
If you're standing while you perform your service, is what you do high in the room of the house?
No. 5 down and 5 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Do you have anything to do with the law?
Yes.
Do you have the power to arrest people?
Yes.
Are you policewomen?
Yes. Good going. Actually, both Diane and Linda are members of the Toronto Police Force. Sometimes work in uniform, sometimes out of uniform.
And we could all use their services.
We could all use their services. But you do detective work sometimes, too? And traffic work? They cover the whole gamut.
Did the girls get in at the same time? Did you?
No, I was in a year and a half. And she just came on just 6 months ago.
Are there any more at home like you?
No.
Bennett wants to go to Toronto and get himself arrested.
If he's serious, I'll see if I can arrange it. It's something serious. Well, I must say we must congratulate the Toronto Police Force. It must be a joy to be arrested in Toronto. And thank you both for being our guests. It's nice to have you with us.
Thank you very much.
We'll meet tonight's mystery guest in just a moment, but first, here is a word from our sponsor. And now we come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery challenger, for which the members of the panel are always blindfolded, as you know. Blindfolds are all in place, panel?
Yes, sir.
Good. Will you enter mystery challenger and sign in, please? As you know, and actually, Merv, this is particularly to remind you of the change of rules. In the case of our mystery challenger, we changed the form of questioning. One question at a time, in turn, moving clockwise. And we'll begin with Arlene Francis.
Are you is your name seen in the theatrical pages of the paper?
Yes. Mr. Griffin.
The television section.
Yes. Miss Kilgallen.
Are you a comedian?
Yes. Mr. Cerf.
Is there any music connected with your act?
No. That's 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
Not in the voice, anyway. Do you appear regularly on any program on television?
Yes. Mr. Griffin.
Movies, too?
Occasionally. Miss Kilgallen.
Are you married to a performer?
No. 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Is the show on which you appeared named after you?
No. 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
Well, are you a kind of master of ceremonies?
No. 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Griffin.
Situation comedy?
No. 5 down and 5 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Well, may I get this clarified? Are you the top banana?
No. Well, I will say here that it's possible, where I think have reduced the questioning perhaps unwittingly to the issue of the regular series. In the regular series on television, we would have to agree not a top banana, but this does not rule out that possibility in other areas of operation. Mr. Cerf.
Have you appeared on the Broadway stage within the past year or two?
Yes. Miss Francis?
I think he's in an animal act. Now, why was that applauded? Is there an animal act? There is an animal act. I know it's not Lassie.
Peggy Cass.
Oh, that Merv, I think Merv has it.
Peggy Cass? She's got a cold if it is.
Well, Peggy Cass has an monkeys.
Well, now
You're
you have
next.
to...
Oh, my turn? Oh, are you Alan Young? Well, that's cool.
$6 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Is it a lady? May we have a conference?
You may have 30 seconds for a conference.
Does the panel think it's a lady?
I think you ought to,
Are you a lady?
Yes. Mr. Cerf.
Yes?
Are you Peggy Cass?
Yes. Peggy, that was a load of fun. You had no idea that it was a woman who blew it.
But he had. No, I just made that up. I used to talk that way for fun in school, and I thought it would come in handy someday, and it did.
It sure did. It sure did. And you know, once we got into the regular television here, to tell the truth, if Peggy hadn't been able to disguise her voice so beautifully, we'd have been dead. That's great. That's more fun than we've had in a long time.
Thank you very much.
I didn't know you was imitating that dog of ours. How's that wonderful poodle of yours?
He's fine, thank you.
Can you imitate the poodle?
No, my dear, he's silent, Sam. He never says anything. I mean, barks anything. He's
Never.
quiet. I'm delighted.
Well, that's great. Now we can see why Auntie Mame was so much fun, because you were a part of it.
Thank you
that's
very
a load
much.
of fun, and Peggy, thanks for being
Thank
our
you.
guest. Glad to have you with us. Well, I must admit, panel, you've done very well so far tonight, and we'll have another contestant after this word from our alternate sponsor. And now to meet another contestant, will you enter and sign in, please? John Dowling, right? Dowling? Where are you from, sir?
Greenwich, Connecticut.
Greenwich, Connecticut. May I present our panel? And then will you join me over here? Mr. Dowling, do you know how we keep score?
Yes, I do, Mr.
All
Daly.
right. In that event, we'll let the audience at home and the audience in the theater know exactly what your line is. All right, panel. We can tell you that Mr. Dowling is salaried and deals in a product. And we'll begin the general questioning with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Could I use your product, Mr. Darling?
Oh, you certainly could, Miss Kilgallen.
Do you have a rough idea that perhaps I do?
Yes,
Or a similar product?
yes.
Would I have it in the home?
Yes, you would.
Would I ever take it into the bedroom?
You could.
But I could take it other places, too.
That's right.
Would I ever go out with it?
I wouldn't think so.
No, I think we'd have to give you a no on that, Dorothy. 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. Dowling, is your product consumable? Yes, it is.
Well,
I'm sorry.
No, I would say Mr. Dowling is right to the degree that almost anything can, in
I didn't
time.
necessarily mean eaten or taken in liquid form. I meant, could it be used up?
Well, it could be used up, Bennett, but if we were to give you an affirmative answer to the question which
Be
you have
incorrect.
posed, you'd be so grievously misled that at some later time you would feel that you should take measures with me. So we'll give you a no.
Heaven
2 down and 8 to go, Miss Francis.
would one buy your product in a store?
Yes, one would.
Would a man buy it as well as a woman?
Very definitely.
Is it, when it is seen, is it on the person?
No.
No, but you couldn't say it was on the
No.
person. That's 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Griffin.
Mr. Dowling, you never clarified whether your product can be eaten or not. Did you mean at a later date it can be eaten?
No, it cannot be eaten.
No, that's 4 down and 6 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Is it solid rather than liquid?
I would say solid.
Can it be folded?
No.
No, can't be folded. 5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. Dowling, is this product used to beautify or cleanse or improve the looks of a house? No, not exactly.
Now, this is not to say that it might not, because of the excellence of its design and the intent and purpose which all manufacturers of good products do have, might not enhance the surroundings into which it was introduced, but this would not be the prime purpose, Bennett. Arlene?
Could you hold it in your hand?
Yes.
Does it have any metal?
Yes.
Does it have any moving parts?
Yes.
Are there any, or are yours plugged in to electricity?
No.
That's 7 down and 3 to go, Mr. Griffin.
Mr. Dowling, is this a luxury item in a home rather than a utility kind of item?
Not luxury, no.
No, I would think we would have to say
I meant
here...
an ornament.
No, there we have to give you a no. That's 8 down and 2 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Mr. Dowling, you said I wouldn't take it out. Is that because it would be funny if I did?
Well, it could be.
Yeah, I would say, Dorothy, you think, if you were to walk out of the house, suppose you were going to tea or something, and you had this under your arm, it would tend to amuse.
May I assume that this is not something alive?
That is correct. It's not alive.
Is it of the animal, was it at one time in the animal kingdom?
No.
No, 9 down and 1 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. Dowling, would this product be used possibly more at one time of season than another time of season? No. Another time of year, I mean? No. It's not seasonal.
It's not seasonal. If you had the product, you would tend to use it with some regularity because it's called a bathroom scale. Now, Dorothy, I think you would agree with me, hon, that if you were going to tea and you walked out of the house with a de facto scale under your arm...
Honey, I seldom take my scale to tea.
You seldom take your scale to tea.
Isn't that a luxury item?
Well, I started to say I don't think so, because I think we have to determine that question substantially on the degree of use. And this is now, particularly with the President's physical fitness program so important, it is now to be considered a useful and necessary item rather than a luxury item.
Perhaps Mr. Dowling could send one to Mr. Salinger?
Well, now, that's a possibility.
In fact, let us send one to all of you.
Well, that's fine, but I think Mr. Salinger needs it more than we do. And on that happy note, Mr. Dowling, thank you very much.
Thank you,
It's good fun having you with us. Well, you've got to admit that we finally stuck you, but I must say that I didn't think we were going to do it tonight, and I'm proud of you for a good night's work, even if we did get you on the scales, and good night, Miss Arlene Francis.
Well, good night, dear John, and good night, Merv. It was lovely to have you with us.
Thank you, Arlene. Nice to be here. And good night to you, Dorothy.
Good night, Merv. Please come again.
Thank
Good
you.
night, Bennett. Brush up on your champagnes now, will you?
Yes, we should have got Mr. Heidsick, shouldn't we? Good night, John.
Yeah, I think so. And Bennett, I might as well confess that pun on surf, your name, was not mine. One of our viewers was good enough to send it in.
Get in touch with GSN. Log on to our website and play our games. Or email us your questions and comments. It's gsn.com. Or drop us a line via snail mail. Our address is 2150 Colorado Avenue, Suite 100, Santa Monica, California, 90404.
Thanks for being with us on What's My Line?
What's My Line is a CBS television network production in association with Mark Griffin and Bill Cosby. Johnny Olson speaking. This program was pre-recorded.